What's good, everybody? Thank you guys so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Y'all, I know the review is late, but I'm here. I think that I don't know what it is because Beverly Hills is my favorite show that's on right now, that's on TV right now. I don't know why the review is late. Well, I think it's late because we had so much stuff going on with Karen and we had so much going on with Meatball and Latasha, everything going on. But we are here now to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode 13. And the name of the episode is called Caviar Catastrophe. Okay. Um, I thought it was a good episode. I'm split, and I feel like this is gonna be a long review. Hopefully it ain't, but I feel like this is gonna be a long review. I'm split because honestly, with Beverly Hills, I really like all of the girls. I know I give Garcelle a hard time, but because I see some BS that Garcelle be on. But I really like all of the girls here on Beverly Hills. So I'm kind of split. And Dorit, my girl, but I just gotta call it fair and how I see it. Okay. Again, we are here to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode 13. And the name of the episode is called Caviar Catastrophe. Okay. So, the episode start with a montage, and we had Erika Jane. Erika Jane looks like she was inviting her mama over. I guess she having do we call it a housewarming? She's been staying there since Tom put her out, or since they've been in financial ruin. Is it called a housewarming? Because she's been living there for a long time, or a redecoration. I don't know. I've never been to anything where somebody had been living at a place and they got new furniture and threw a party. But I didn't see $37,000 worth of furniture. We seen the people bringing in furniture. Maybe we got to see what the outside deck is looking like, but I don't see $37,000 worth of furniture, Erika Jane. I feel like Martin Lawrence got you. Okay. Next, we got a little montage of Dorit and Jagger. And we got Dorit outside playing basketball with Jagger. I'm a sensitive Cancer. I love to see when like family members embrace something because like their children do it. I love stuff like that. I just couldn't see Dorit out doing anything sweating, but her and Miss Rachel, they out there playing basketball with Jagger. It reminded me, I have a cousin, her son went to try out for the football team, and we was trying to make sure that he made the team. And I remember I went over there and that girl was over there in the 3-point stance. I love stuff like that. Things, that you do for your kids or loved ones. Like if your child pick up a sport or show interest in something, maybe your child like, you into R&B music or hip hop, and they all of a sudden got a taste for rock music, and you taking them to concerts and things like that. I just love stuff like that. And you not only, they show interest in it, so you show interest in it. I love stuff like that. Okay. But the episode really starts off with Jennifer Tilly. Okay. She's throwing a party at Caviar Catastrophe, and it's a caviar party, and she wants everybody to wear caftans. Okay. I'm not gonna lie with y'all, I've never had no caviar before, ever. If I'm being honest with you, the first time I ever seen caviar, maybe I've seen it before and I didn't know, but the first time I ever seen caviar was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kathy and Kyle was sitting in her backyard one day and they had made caviar. I had no idea I heard about it before. I just had no idea what it looked like. So Jennifer Tilly is at Caviar Catastrophe, and she's meeting with the party planners to set up the event. She said that she's not a caviar connoisseur, that she usually just orders the most expensive things on the menu. And that probably is not always the best thing. Because she said that she's sure that it tastes better. The most expensive things on the menu taste better, but that's not always true, from my experience, okay? Sutton stops by. Sutton says that she's looking for a billionaire to spoil her, and that she already has her own money. So she's basically looking for a new victim. I don't know, for some reason, y'all, when I see Sutton and how she behaves on this show, Sutton acts as if she made the money by herself. And there's nothing wrong with getting money from a divorce. There's nothing wrong with getting money from a divorce. I just think that Sutton strikes me as a person, the way that she talks about her money, I feel like that she probably had to really defend her money and how she got her money. I feel like with her being a housewife, it's the same thing with Monique. And I see the same thing going on Twitter, crazy, ironically. It's like these women were housewives. they got with these men who made a lot of money, and people don't think that they should have gotten away with the money since they didn't actually work for the money. And so now everybody's like, oh, well, you just got the money because of your husband. But I feel like a lot of women would love to be in that position. Some don't, but I don't think that no woman wants to talk to a man and get married to a man and not receive anything from him when he leaves him, or talk to a man that does not have anything.
I don't fuck with broke men. I break out in halves, Shit.
So my thing is, just don't let nobody try to play you out your position, because that's what we've seen over there with Monique. Monique Samuels was a woman who was over there with a man who had a lot of money, and I feel like that Giselle and Robin and played her out of her position when all of them would have been dying to be in her position, and I really do believe that. Okay, Sutton basically downloads Jennifer Tilly on everything that happened at Dorit's 4th of July party. She said that she was reluctant to go. She said that Dorit started the whole drinking problem last year. That's not true. The first time somebody brought up Sutton's drinking problem was the season that Diana was on. I remember it vividly. It was at a 70s party, and Sutton couldn't finish her sentence. And that was the same season that Garcelle was going around talking about Erika and her drinking. And when Sutton couldn't finish her sentence, Erika Jane said, and I'm the one with the drinking problem. And everybody bust out laughing. And then she looked at Garcelle and said, ma'am. And they started having an argument. That was the first time her drinking problem had been brought up on the show, or that Sutton seemed like, it seemed like Sutton had a drinking problem. And then last year, Dorit and Kyle insinuated that she had a drinking problem, but that was after Sutton let us know that she keeps ocean spray, like I believe it was ocean spray, grapefruit juice, in her bag as a mixer. And which is why you have to be careful what you do on these reality TV cameras, because it always comes back to bite. Now, when I say that it was after, I believe that it was earlier in the season when we know that Sutton walked around with grapefruit ocean spray in her bag. And I don't think that Kyle and Dorit knew that she had it. I'm not saying that they said that she had a drinking problem because she walked around with the grapefruit juice. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that the way that they showed it on the show and in the way that the cameras edited it, Dorit and Kyle made those statements about her in episodes after we learned that she walked around with the grapefruit juice in her bag. Okay? She said that she was very, very upset, and she said that she haven't spoken to her or seen her since the fight, and the first time that she will be seeing her is at Jennifer Tilly's party. Okay? Next, we got Kyle. Kyle said that Portia's in Europe with Mauricio. She's talking to her therapist. I believe it was her therapist or a life coach. I don't know. She said it's the first summer that they're not together as a family. Is that really true? Because I believe last summer they weren't together either. She said that, Mauricio is on the guy's trip living his best life. And my thing is with Kyle, it's hard for me to feel sorry for Kyle completely, because Kyle, you was living your best life last year. You was living your best life last year. Okay, you was parading Morgan around. Girl, Morgan was on the show. Y'all was getting tattoos with each other. It's hard for me to feel sorry for Kyle when it comes to the whole Mauricio and him living his best life stuff, because she was living her best life too. She said that her biggest accomplishment in life was her marriage.
Oh my God.
And this is what I see with her, Sutton. This is why I think that Miss Reba and Sutton was over there fighting, because a marriage is not promised. What Monica say? That's why I learned not to worry about them living a happy after, because that shit was built on the lie. So it's sure to fall, right? You have to find something else outside of the marriage. Because once the marriage is over with, you just gonna feel like that you wasted your time. And let's be real, a lot of people, when they leave their marriages, they're not gonna walk away with tens of millions of dollars like Kyle is gonna walk away with, or getting $100,000 a month in spousal support like Sutton will. So you have to find something outside of the marriage. Kyle says that she's also proud of the marriage because she didn't have a good example from her parents. Kyle and Kim, I know that they had the same dad. And what I read about Big Kathy, they said that she was hell on wheels. And I think that with Kyle, she said that she never wanted to become a single mother like her mother was. And I think that sometimes when we watch the generation above us, we try to do just better than them and don't focus on anything else. So I can see Kyle saying, well, my mother was a single mother, so as long as I'm not a single mother, I'm doing good. And she probably didn't have time to focus on anything else except for not ending up being a single mother. So she probably felt like that she won. And sometimes people just focus on one thing and they can't do anything else. So in her head, she won. But you ain't gonna be no single mother now. I mean, Portia is what, 16? Portia 16. The rest of your kids are grown. Me and Farrah are the same age. So Farrah 36. Portia is 16. I can't believe she had another baby when her daughter was 20. But yeah, you're not gonna be no single mother. Farrah should be getting ready to have kids soon. You probably be a single grandmother, but a single mother, and like y'all say, Kim Kardashian ain't no single mother because she got money. So I guess y'all not gonna let Kyle call herself a single mother either. Okay. We got Bose. Bose got a black fertility specialist. I'm impressed. I'm just being real with y'all, and I'm not embarrassed to say I've never seen anything like this growing up. I've never seen like a black doctor. I never had like a black dentist or a black nothing. I've never even really seen a black store until I was in college. The only thing that I've seen black was like the Cool Cup lady. And I'm not saying that like I grew up around a lot of people who wasn't black. I'm just saying in my neighborhood, I grew up around a lot of black people. But what I'm saying is in my neighborhood, at the stores and stuff, the convenience stores, I've never seen everything black. It wasn't an option for us to just go shop at black stores and have black dentists and black doctors and stuff like that. Our teachers and stuff was black like that. And we had like black principals, but everything else was it just wasn't black. And I think that with Bose, she's showing me like she really mean all black everything. In LA, I think that there's an option. I think that most of the stuff that I do in LA is black. But sometimes when you and there is a downside. I'm not trying to be funny. I just got to be real. There is a downside because sometimes when you mess with some black people, they think that they could be lazy and try to talk black to you. And they be even a Cool Cup lady sometimes she used to be like that. But whatever. Bose said that she have all of her services in her home. She get her bikini wax at home, her nails done in her home, her hair get done in her home. Everything is in her home. Bose is 47, Keely is 48. The fertility expert comes in. She said that, older ladies can have babies and have them safely. It just requires planning. Listen, we don't want to get all into this. Listen, I kind of have sympathy for Bose, just a little bit. I think that what Bose is doing is this is her first season on this show, and she's trying to show us the risk of black women getting pregnant. I don't believe that Bose, if she really wants to carry the baby, I do kind of have sympathy for her. But I think that what we're watching is that at the end, by the time this season ends, it's going to be determined that she is not going to carry a baby. I think that we're jumping to conclusions like, girl, this is crazy, but I don't think that in real life that Bose is getting ready to try to carry no baby. I think that we just along for the ride and we see that it's a train wreck and she gonna, jump off the train. I'm not saying that her and Keely may not be together. I just don't see her trying to have no baby. It's just risky. I'm just gonna let the storyline play out. I just don't believe that this woman. It's just a lot of red flags, and you can pass away. My grandmother's mother passed away in childbirth, and that changed the whole direction of my grandmother's life. So it's real. You can pass away at childbirth. It's real. Okay. Next, we got Sutton. Sutton is talking about Caviar Catastrophe, that she went to Caviar Catastrophe in Paris with Jennifer Tilly, and she talked about what she ordered, and then she talked about what Dorit ordered, and she called Dorit Dorit. Wow. I'm all for the fun and games, but if somebody had said something like this to Garcelle, that would be outrage. And this is an instance of what I've been saying about this show. There are certain things that the girls do and say to each other, and it's laughed about and it's funny. But when it's done to Garcelle like to try to cry and play the race game. Baby, this is Housewives. and you know what show that you signed up for, and you knew what the other castmates was gonna be. Sutton is on her way to Caviar Catastrophe with Kyle, and Sutton is boiling. She tells Kyle that she's not going to be nice, and I feel like that Sutton was upset, and she wanted to get her shit off. She was at home practicing her reads, and she wanted to get her shit off. Okay, we got Bose and Dorit there in a car on the way to Caviar Catastrophe, and they're saying that they wanted to tell Sutton that we need you in a circle and with sisterhood, and you're not allowed to leave. Dorit says that Sutton needs to stop playing victim in situations she created and manipulating people to believe that she's the innocent one. And that's true. But we're gonna talk about it when we get down to it. But she said that she's noticed there's two sides of Sutton. She said that she sees the nice, passionate version of Sutton, and she also sees her evil twin sister. And they said today is going to be the day to hold her accountable and talk about what's going on. Okay. Next, we get another flashback at Sutton and Kyle. And Sutton is saying in her confessional, she doesn't know why Dorit continues to come after her. Now, Sutton, you started it. You started it this season, okay? Sutton, everything started. The beef between Dorit and Sutton this year started with Sutton yelling at her in the Sprinter on Kathy's trip to, it was somewhere in California, but I believe it was San Diego. That's where the beef started at. Sutton yelled at Dorit, okay? Next time they met up together, they was at Kyle party, and she threw her divorce in her face, okay? She tried to apologize and tried to act like that, she was a girl's girl. Every girl, you're not a girl's doing that. And, oh, I'm not that person. I wouldn't have thrown it in your face. You weaponized it. You got upset, and nobody was buying what you're doing, and now you're just upset. You're upset. You started it this season, Sutton. That's the truth, okay? She said the obvious reason that Dorit is upset because there's people in the group that have a lifestyle that Dorit aspires to have. And my thing is, Sutton, if you're going to say stuff like this, I want you to stand on it. Don't say, people in the group say, I have a lifestyle that Dorit wants.
I need to teach you how to be a better pit bull.
Stand in it, okay? And Dorit, you don't know how to win because Dorit, you had won. To me, Dorit had won. Everybody had forgot about the drinking comment that y'all made last year about Sutton, right? And when you bring the comment up now Sutton has an out. And Sutton can say, well, I said all of this stuff about her, and I bought the divorce in her face, and I threw that, I threw all of this up in her face, and I'm doing all of that because of what she said about me last year. When the truth is, Sutton had forgot about it. The viewers had forgot about it. So you would have won. You didn't have to bring that up. And now I feel like some of the audience members are going to be in Sutton's favor because they're going to be making this. They're going to try to play like, oh, well, this all stemmed from last year when it really didn't. It started with you not forgiving her. And you should have just pulled her to the side, really. Because I do feel like Dorit, if I'm being honest, I do feel like Dorit was upset that she cut you off about Jagger. And instead of going to talk to her about it, I felt like you waited till she got to your house and you was throwing digs at her. I do. Okay? So next we get to the Caviar Catastrophe party. Okay? When they first showed it, it looked like they had Anna Marie on the name card. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Anna Marie must is going to be here because I know that she had got fired and she was saying on Twitter last year, her announcement after she got fired that she didn't really get to show herself. So I didn't know that she was filming. I thought that we probably was going to see her here, but I don't know. All of the girls arrived there. I think that Sutton's caftan and her whole outfit as a whole look better than everybody else's to me. Over here when the girls show up for a group event, we say who we like. I do. I think that Sutton was kind of giving me Sharon Tate. If Sharon Tate probably would have lived to be in her 50s, she kind of gave me Sharon Tate. Dorit isn't wearing a caftan now. She said that she didn't get the memo. She looked great, but she didn't have on no caftan, so I can't give her number one. Now, if we're going to say who started the mess, I feel like if we're going to say who started it, Sutton started it. Okay? Dorit said that she missed the caftan memo, and Sutton said, how could you miss the memo? Like real snarky, And these are y'all rules. If we beefing, don't say shit to me. Don't say nothing to me at all. These are the rules that y'all made up. I could see Dorit already feeling insecure. I didn't got on the caftan. Everybody here, got on the caftan. And, just don't say nothing to me. I done already said something. Now you trying to put some more on it, okay? So Sutton ordered some water, okay? And Sutton is uptight. Now, Dorit asked if she was ordering water because of the tips that they had. And I thought that Dorit was going to apologize initially. I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's going to apologize. I thought that she was going to say, "Are you ordering water because I was tips? I apologize. I didn't really mean nothing by it." And Sutton was like, "Is it okay for me to drink water?" And she was like, "Okay, now I know. I never know what Sutton I'm going to get. Now I know." I feel like Dorit could have, if she wanted to apologize, she could have just, instead of saying, "Now I know what Sutton I'm going to get," you could have just went ahead and apologized. So she probably say later, "I was going to apologize to her when I asked her that, but I didn't get a chance to." You had a chance to. You had a chance to apologize when you started saying, "I never know what Sutton I'm going to get." Okay. And the thing is, if you knew that Sutton was upset about the drinking thing that you said last episode, chances are she's going to be offended this time when you brought up the water thing too. Okay. So the girls get ready to eat their food. They all got assigned seats. Okay. Now notice and see, this is the housewife mean girl stuff. Notice that Jennifer Tilly, remember earlier this season, Jennifer Tilly, Garcelle, and Sutton had met up in the restroom, and they was upset that Dorit was always around Bose. And Garcelle said, maybe we can, mix it up a little bit to keep them away from each other. So now it's Jennifer Tilly's event, and she has assigned seats for everybody. A person that got assigned seats and stuff, they try to look at it like it's proper. No, it ain't really proper. It could be proper, but it's also a way to get some shit going. So they had Sutton sitting between Garcelle and Jennifer Tilly in case she needed backup. And then they had Dorit sitting right across from Sutton, but they also had her broke away from Bose.
Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I ask you, is it a coincidence?
So we about to triple team you if we need be, and we gonna have you away from your support system. Okay, I love it. I love it. Listen, I love it. Okay, so then they get to talking about Jennifer Tilly. She's an Oscar nominated actress. She's a real actress. Some people like to call people legends and it girls, and they never got an Oscar nomination. They never got an NAACP award nomination. They don't even, they just give out legends and icons awards to anybody that been doing acting and stuff in the 90s, even if they didn't even have no lines in the movie. They always call them legends and icons when you could only name one role that they was in the R. Kelly video.
I do. Fuck you. Come on.
But Jennifer Tilly was the real it girl in the 90s. She got an Oscar nomination.
Come on, give it up! Give it up! Give it up! Give it up!
They showed a picture of her the night of the Oscar nomination. She said that she wore Isaac Mizrahi outfit. And her sister was also nominated for an Oscar. And then we found out that Jennifer Tilly was half Chinese. Now, I didn't know that. I knew that Jennifer Tilly wasn't a white woman, but I didn't think that she was. I thought she gave me Filipino. I've never seen a Filipino person, at least I don't think until I moved to LA. She always gave me Filipino. And so she said that she was half Chinese. I guess I could see it. Okay. Now, Sutton orders a drink in another language. Okay. Now keep in mind the fight was over with. Dorit ain't said nothing to her. Dorit got her glasses on. Dorit outside, and she ordered a drink in another language, and then she looked at Bose and said, "I don't know which person I am today." And she looked at Bose, "How many people do you have in you today?" And Bose was like, "What?" But Sutton was trying to make conversation with Bose to disarm her once she started going into I know what you're doing, Sutton, and I love it. Okay. How many people are you today? She said, "Girl, it ain't nobody. I ain't got nobody else. For me, it's only one of me. How many people are in you?" Right? And so she said, Dorit already said, "Which persons are you today?" And they showed the flashback. She didn't say exactly that, but she kind of said that. And Dorit wasn't paying the girl no mind when she said it. And so Dorit was like, "Is that what you're referring to?" And she said, "Yeah, that's what you said." And so Erica Jane was like, y'all can't fight, the food is coming. So Dorit was like, you know what, back off of it. And Sutton said, back up off me. Let me tell you something. I came to your party. I waited 30 minutes. When Kyle got there, you came downstairs. You took my handbag. Dorit was like, I was being humorous. Dorit, we already talked about it, but you also have to know who you joking with. And you joking with, Dorit, Sutton is a stick in the mud. So do I feel like you was joking? I feel like that you was trying to punk her a little bit, if I'm being honest. I do. I feel like you was trying to kind of punk her a little bit. I don't think that you would have took nobody else's handbag and held. I don't think that you would have took Kathy's handbag and held it. I don't think that you would have took Kathy's handbag and played with Kathy like that. I think that she was trying to punk her a little bit. I do, if I'm being honest with you. Okay? She said, girl, you pointed out my vodka, but you put vodka in your Coca-Cola. I find that very interesting. But the thing is, though, Sutton, the difference is we ain't never seen Dorit drunk on camera before. At least I haven't. I've been watching Beverly Hills. I've seen every episode of Beverly Hills. I don't think I ever seen Dorit drunk on camera. We've seen you drunk on camera. And we also seen your mama running back to the bar and stuff on camera. And you said that your daddy had. I mean, my thing is, okay, listen, y'all, this might be time for some of y'all to leave, because if we going low, we going low. If we gonna go low and we gonna go there, let's go there. We seen you drunk on camera before. We seen your mama running to the bar, refilling her cup at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Going to put ice in her cup, keep on running to the bar. And we know that your daddy was, what did she call it? Self-medicating with alcohol.
Oh, huh?
So yeah, it shouldn't be interesting to you because we ain't got the same story. Okay. She said that, the vodka joke was a jab at the last year, what you did to me. And it was, y'all did do that to her last year. Y'all did do that to her last year, though. They said that Sutton put vodka in her coffee. Okay. She said, girl, was I the only one who did that? And Dorit, you do got that bad, though. I do got to tell you this, Dorit. You got that bad. Every time you get into it with somebody, not every time, but most of the times, you get into it with somebody, you want to bring somebody else up in it. Okay? She said, was I the only one who did it? She's like, well, Kyle did too, but Kyle apologized. And Dorit said, did I not apologize?
That's a no.
And Dorit didn't apologize. They rolled that beautiful bean footage and you didn't apologize. What you did was, this is what y'all do, and this is what I don't like. And I remember talking about it last year. You and Kyle put out there that she had a drinking problem. And you kind of got in it a little bit. Kyle was the one who was really insinuating she had a drinking problem. We really gonna talk about it. But what y'all did at the reunion, y'all said when y'all was asked about it, you was like, well, I don't know. So you put it out there, but you're not going to confirm whether I do or don't. And you didn't take it away. So why even put it out there? Neither one. I don't believe that Kyle apologized, because Kyle kept on doing stuff to Sutton and saying words like, what are you on? What's wrong with you? What are you on? She was drunk. That's what she was trying to say. You're drunk. Okay. Sutton says, I'm not going to let you perpetuate that myth. Sutton, with the mixes and stuff going on, they kind of make it true in my eyes. Okay? And so she said, look, let me tell you something. You need to pick on someone who wallet fits. And the table was gagged. Okay? The way that she said it, y'all, it was perfect. Chef's kiss. You need to pick on someone who wallet fits. And the way that she did it, it was kind of like she had her hands out as if like she was taking a Polaroid of Dorit and basically saying, girl, this is broke. What you're giving is broke. You need to pick on someone who wallet fits, who's in your tax bracket, who's in your, like it was lethal. The way that she did her hands and was like as if she was like sizing her up. Like, this is a whole, girl, what is this? This is Section 8. This is WIC. It was the way that she did it was, I loved it. It was chef's kiss. She practiced on that. She did. And it was so interesting to me. Production decided to play Garcelle and Kyle's reaction because the money comment that we kind of started seeing on the show, what that I really paid attention to was with Garcelle and Kyle. And Garcelle just was like, oh, damn. And Kyle said that she can't believe that Sutton said it and it was embarrassing. But this is not the first time that Sutton has made insinuations about her money. She did it last year at Crystal's party when she said the girls are way back there. I know what I got, and I know what I'm gonna accomplish, and I know what y'all will never accomplish, and y'all are way back there. That was her putting her money on the table. That was her fighting with her pocketbook. What Jennifer Hudson say? Don't make me hit you with my pocketbook. That was her putting her dick on the table last year and letting y'all know y'all was broke. Speaking of, on Watch What Happens Live last night, well, not last night, on Watch What Happens Live that night, Crystal, and it was Chinese night on Real Housewives, on Watch What Happens Live. And Crystal and Jennifer Tilly was there, and Andy asked Crystal, has Sutton ever flaunted her wealth against her? And she was like, well, no, but I have money. Girl, you're lying. You're lying. And we need to really see what I really want to, with the money conversations over here at Beverly Hills now, I really want to see what the girls got in their bank accounts. I don't want to see what the Google got. I want to see what the girls really got in their bank accounts. Because Crystal, everybody in that room, to me, the way that Sutton was talking, she wasn't talking to Dorit. She was talking to everybody in the room. That was giving me, you know how you be at a party and somebody get upset and be like, and that go for any motherfucker in here. That's what Sutton energy was given at that party. None of you bitches can fuck with me. You bitches are way back there and I'm way up here, and she had her arms extended. That go for everybody in the room. She was talking to everybody in the room, and everybody in the room knew that she was talking to everybody in the room, and the way that y'all eyes was looking at each other, y'all knew that she was talking to everybody in the room because y'all didn't really know what she had in her bank account. Y'all didn't really know what she had in her wallet. Crystal, she has weaponized her. She didn't just single you out when she did it, but she checked everybody that was in the room that night. Everybody that was zooming there, right? Kim was in there sniffing on markers. It was Crystal. Bill Burr wife was in there. Who else? Erika, Denise, Garcelle, Sutton. Dorit. Everybody was in there that night. Everybody that was at that party, everybody was in there. She was talking to that night. Now, Kathy wasn't there, but Kyle was in there, and they was just looking. So, yeah, she has weaponized. She has threw her wallet. She hit these girls with her pocketbook on the show before. So, I don't understand the outrage now. Okay? So, Erika said, well, do you think you're bigger than her? Talking about Dorit, do you think you're bigger than her? She said, I think my wallet is. I think my wallet is. Okay? The only listen, and she's eating. She's eating. And the thing is this, I don't know. Listen, she's eating in our world. Everybody be like, oh, we don't talk about money. It's tacky, it's tacky, it's tacky, it's tacky. I get that they probably don't talk about money in their world, and I'm not of their world. So to me, she eating. It's not, people talk about money. Now, in Beverly Hills, it may be frowned upon, but, to us, she's eating. But we're not in her circle. The only thing that I don't like about Beverly Hills, the only thing is when we see the girls go there with each other or go toe-to-toe, it's never really going toe-to-toe. It's never really a back and forth. It's one person telling somebody off and the other person not really saying. It's not really like ping ball. Remember how Claudia and Nene and they was going back and forth, back and forth? They don't really do that on Beverly Hills. It's like somebody say something, gut punch, and it's done. The other person don't even try to put up a fight. Because I think that Dorit didn't even try to put up a fight. Okay? Dorit was in her confessional, and she said, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing where Sutton goes, where she is completely comfortable, as low as she can go. Just because she thinks her husband dropped a big pocketbook in her lap, it gives her license to be such a fucking cunt. The only thing that your pocketbook has gotten you is a horse instead of a date. Basically, girl, with all the money you got, bitch, you still won't look at me when you put that shit on. Yeah, you got all the money, girl, but you can't look like me, bitch. And I look with all the money that you got, you can't get enough surgery to fuck with me, bitch. That's what I got. And you still can't get no man. A billionaire gonna try to take care of you? Please.
Who's gonna want you and 3 children? Who's gonna want you, you stupid, dumb?
So Erika said, what does money have to do with it? And Sutton backpedals a little bit. She said it doesn't. I just want her to back up off me. No, baby. Sutton, if we're going to go there, we going there. stand in it. She can't sit with me. That's what we want to hear. And we going there. That's the thing with Sutton. She don't never really commit. She don't never really commit to it. You know, you say something and then you kind of like pussyfoot around a little bit. I'm telling you what the money got to do with it. She can't sit with me. The bitch can't sit with me. That's what it got to do with it. And you can't either.
Yeah, just smell that. That's great, huh?
Well, since we going there, why you got so much motherfucking mouth? Okay? Sutton got in her confession. She said, I don't regret it. I won't regret it. I'm proud I said it. Dorit said, so it's okay for you and not okay for Kyle. She said, it was rude. You was rude to me. It was clear that you didn't want me there, so I left. So the conversation must have been about Sutton storming out of Dorit's house. And she said, you know, I left because the hostess didn't want me there. I wasn't on the side of the road in the bathrobe. And so Dorit says, you know, did I call you a bitch? And she said, I should have called you a fucking bitch. I'm like, oh, Dorit. So Sutton mouthpiece, you know, that she bought jumps in. Garcelle jumps in and she's trying to get Dorit to apologize. Girl, if somebody went low that Sutton just went, I'm not apologizing.
I'm never going to apologize. Never going to apologize, comma. Never going to apologize, comma. Never going to apologize, semicolon. Never going to apologize, explanation point. It's not going to happen.
I'm not apologizing for shit. We going there, okay? Dorit apologizes. Sutton declines the apology. And we already knew that was going to happen. It wouldn't be no apology. Sutton asked her, do you really mean your apology? She said, of course, Sutton. You know, if you had said, Dorit, please don't do that, you know, in that moment, I would have apologized. Instead, you called me a bitch in my home and left. I do believe that Dorit would have apologized to her, though. But Dorit, you have to admit that you was being nasty and you threw a jab in that moment. Okay? Kyle says, what do you need from each other? And Sutton is like, she has nothing to give me. I can promise you that.
That's wrong.
Oh, please, darling, cool it down.
Like basically, girl, this bitch is broke. She don't have enough nothing to give me nothing. Ain't nothing she can give me. They destitute over there. And then Dorit starts going off on Kyle. And I feel like the only reason why she started going off on Kyle is because she feel like that was an alley-oop. That was the only reason I could see her going off on Kyle, because what do you two need from each other? And the girl just dunked it in. Baby, she ain't got shit to give me. She ain't got nothing. Okay? So Sutton says, you know, I think we need space. And so Dorit and Kyle change seats. Okay? Faye says that she doesn't want, you know, Dorit obviously don't want people to think that she's late all the time. And, you know, Sutton, I drink as much as you do. And everybody at the table just bust out laughing in Sutton's face. And that's the thing with Sutton. She has energy for certain girls. You know what I'm saying? She has energy for certain girls with a certain wallet and a certain status, because everybody was gagged and laughed in Sutton's face. It's the same way that she did Kathy when Kathy was calling her Thomasina. Kathy called her Thomasina over there at Lisa Renner House when they threw Garcelle that party and tried to give her the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills starter package, because, you know, she really wasn't shaping up. So this girl said, girl, let us give you some diamonds. Let us give you some clothes and stuff. At that party that they had, everybody bought Garcelle a gift. And when Kathy saw Sutton, she called her Thomasina. And instead of Sutton getting mad at Kathy, like, girl, don't call me no Thomasina. I don't give a damn how much money you got. She went and got mad and got upset at the Asian girl and started talking about Crystal. Got mad at Crystal. And insulted Crystal. And then everybody started running over there trying to, you know, console Sutton. Okay? Dorit got up and left. And Jennifer Tilly says, you know, oh my God, I feel bad for her, poor Dorit. And Sutton got in her confessional. She said, no, not poor Dorit. She's mean as hell. But Sutton, you started all of this, you know? And Sutton is just not a girl's girl. And, you know, I just feel like that everything with Sutton, it's all about timing. To say this about her money and, you know, somebody who wallet fits, you should have said it before she was going through a divorce. If you felt that way, you should have said it before she was going through a divorce. It's not cool to say it while she's going through a divorce or a separation, especially with your pocketbook is the way that it is because of your divorce from your husband. I think it's all about timing. And I don't think that, honestly and truthfully, I don't think that Sutton's back is strong enough to withstand the backlash. I don't think that her back is strong enough. Andy kind of insinuated on Watch What Happens Live that Sutton is not going to have a good rest of the season, which is probably why on the after show she was going for broke. On the after show, she was really trying to put in and how I don't have any respect for Dorit because of, you know, she know her money. She's really going for broke to try to make Dorit seem like this broke girl, and it's just not a good look. It's one thing to say that your wallet and stuff don't fit. I'm not about to go and try to break down into somebody's finances. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Dorit and Kyle go. Dorit is going into the bar. I initially thought that she left, but when I watched the episode again, it looked like she was just going to the bar. And she tells Kyle, if I go as low as I can go, I will eviscerate her. And I don't want to go low. There's only so low a person can go. Baby, if I was Dorit, and I'm telling you, and I mean this, if I was getting into it with Sutton, I would have started talking about her mama not loving her.
Love me. RHOBH was supposed to love me.
I would have got to talking about her daddy drinking problem that she trying to say was a mental. Baby, your daddy was over there a drunk. That's what from what she got on the show. That was a nice way of saying that her daddy was an alcoholic. He was self-medicating with alcohol. Yes, baby. We going there. Let's go. Bring your wallet. Let's go. We got to. If I wouldn't have went there with her, my name ain't Andrew. If we gonna go, let's go. Kyle said that they needed 911. Dorit said that she tried 3 times. Now, I don't remember no 3 times one-on-one. I remember y'all having a one-on-one earlier when she told you she'll beat after you with your divorce or whatever, but I don't remember no 3 times. Maybe they didn't show it. Maybe we just didn't see it, and they did. Kyle said Sutton needs to cool down. Kyle said after spending time with Dorit and Augusta and hearing about her dad, she can understand why she was so triggered. She was so triggered that she was walking around with cranberry juice in her bag as a mixer.
Grey Goose.
That's how triggered she was. Kyle, give me a break. Okay? Dorit said, I need a break. When she balances her meds, she can come and see me. And Kyle says she gets very offended when she says that.
What you want? What?
Girl, oh well. And what the fuck do you want me to do about it? She gonna get her shit off, I'm gonna get mine off too. Shit. Okay? Next we got Mauricio and Greece at the airport kissing a woman. I don't really care. Kyle paraded Morgan our face all last season. And so I don't know how I'm really supposed to feel. I just feel like the women on the show, I guess they team Kyle and they just feel like this it's an insult. But y'all, we got a whole Kyle paraded a whole woman on the show last year in our face. They was going to tattoo parlors. The girl was singing at memorials of Kyle's best friend. Like, absolutely not. Okay? Erika it's FaceTiming Kyle, and she said, you know, if you're meeting with someone, why greet them at the airport? And so Kyle is saying he didn't know his picture was being taken. He's definitely not doing it on purpose, if that's what you're implying. I feel like that Kyle and Mauricio probably got a plan that they was going to, you know, mess around for a little bit and then get back together. They gave themselves a time frame to mess around or something. You know, I don't know why she would be trying to defend what's going on. Okay? What I think is going on, well, Sutton said, I agree with Sutton. Sutton says that Kyle and Mauricio are using the paparazzi to tell a story. I think that Kyle and Mauricio are in on it. Sutton thinks that they're trying to go at each other. I think that Kyle and Mauricio are playing in our face. I think they probably got like an open relationship and they just testing the waters for a little bit and probably always plan on coming back. And that was the end of the episode. I honestly and truthfully, with Kyle and Mauricio, we could talk about the divorce. We could talk about the money. Let's talk about the money, baby. We could talk about the money. I don't really care about Mauricio with no woman. Ain't nothing that Kyle can tell me that's going to make me feel bad. I know that we heard that Mauricio had been cheating for years and stuff like that, but Kyle was on the show last year. We saw Kyle with somebody first. I don't care what nobody on the show had said. Until we see Mauricio with a woman, I saw Mauricio with my eyes with a woman after we saw Kyle with a woman. And Kyle, y'all got to be playing in our face because there is no way I would be married to somebody that was worth $100 million and I will be parading somebody around without already trying to file for divorce first. There's no way. Before you seen me shoot a scene with Morgan, I would have already had filed for divorce and had all my ducks in a row just in case he got mad at what was going on with me. There's no way that y'all can make me believe that she did something like that. You don't trust no nigga. I don't give a damn. You don't trust nobody that much. Okay? On the after show, we ain't gonna talk about a lot about the after show. It was something that it's a question that I have. I always wondered this. Y'all know Alexis is getting married. Alexis is getting married soon. And so they're probably gonna have to see each other after the wedding. Carl and Mauricio, they're gonna pay for the wedding, I believe. And so, maybe they get inspired by the wedding and see, all the time that they got. But she said that Kyle said that her and Mauricio's 29th wedding anniversary came last week and they wasn't together. So my question to y'all is, if their 29th anniversary came last week, my question is, does it mean that they get together 2 years from now? Does it mean that number starts over for them? Or do we just subtract 2 years? Because I've always wondered that about marriages. You know how when you hear that people been married, we've been married for over 60 years, but it's all 60 years of that marriage. Is that on? Did y'all break up for 5 years or 2 years or 1 year and get back together? What are we including in this 60 years? That's what I want to know. Are we going to keep counting if Mauricio and Kyle get back together in 2026? Is that going to be... Because now she's calling it 29. When they get back together, are we just going to start at 28? Because 29th don't count if y'all didn't make it, in my opinion. Dorit said that Mauricio could have been more discreet in the airport. Like Kyle was with Morgan last year. Y'all got to stop. And so Kyle said that it garnered attention and the kids see it. Girl, you had to have a talk with your kids when they saw you on the show last year. You have to have a talk with your kids and tell them that you was a kissing lesbian.
What about your lesbian relationship, bitch?
So I really don't want to hear it. As far as the episode, I think that Sutton ate Dorit up. I love Dorit. Dorit is my girl. I really like all the girls on the show. But to me, Sutton ate Dorit up. And what this shows me is that it proves that Garcelle was on bullshit when she accused Kyle of bringing that $5,000 tab, the unpaid $5,000 tab up to her. It proves to me that it was bullshit. My thing is this: if you went up for Sutton when she called Dorit poor read and said that basically she couldn't sit with her and her wallet don't fit, then you should have went up for Kyle when she said that Garcelle raised her paddle for $5,000 and didn't pay. That's the same thing to me. We taking money shots. This is Beverly Hills, darling. We talking about the money. We talking about the cash when we get really mad at somebody. That it is what it is. It can't happen both ways. Now I don't know if Garcelle liked the comment. We're gonna see Garcelle sitting with Dorit next episode, so we'll see. But for the most part, I thought it was a good episode. Dorit took her first L of the season. You lost this round. You might come back. I don't really know what you can say unless we going out after her mom and her daddy. But we'll see. But y'all, that's all I got for this episode. Thank y'all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.
Call daddy, tell him 25. Call daddy, tell him 25. Call daddy, tell him 25.